Welcome back to the AME NOIR channel. I'm your boy Don K, and today we're going to do our first video essay. I watch a lot of video essays online. I'm inspired by watching them. I like them, and I thought to myself, I always ask this one question to myself, so why not make a video essay about it? The video essay today is very, very simple. Why does K-pop fail in the West, and why does BTS succeed? To me, you have to break this down into 4 different parts. Building a true fan base, lack of music individuality and too many members, lack of collaborations, and inflating fake numbers. Fake is a very tricky term, not exactly fake, but not exactly honest. And I'll get into those later. You know, with technology moving fast, the internet growing, music is being created faster than ever before. With the rise of AI and artificial sounds inflated, if you don't adapt with the times or get quicker with your thinking, you're gonna get left behind. So with that being said, I'm not gonna hold you too much. It's just that I wanted to use this time and show you the steps that BTS took to make it around the world and the steps other K-pop groups don't take. Not only don't they take them, they usually trick themselves into believing that they are taking these steps. And a lot of these fake numbers and a lot of these so-called world tours, they're using them to make the audience feel like they're bigger than they are. But you can fake streams, you can fake numbers, you can pretend all you want. The bottom line is the people impact music. And when you go to these places and people don't know your names, it's impossible to sell more than these other artists that people don't even know your names around the world. Do I think I speak for the whole world? No, this is just my opinion based on analyzation, me talking to people, looking up information that's easily researchable, and just using common sense. The first thing we're going to get into is building a true fan base. And this is one of the more important things, I want to break down. Why is building a true fan base important? Building a true fan base is important is because no one knows how long they're going to be on a label. No one knows how long they're going to be hot. Your music determines what people think about you, and only your music. And if you don't have a true fan base that watches you, listens, believes, and defends you, then you're going to be left behind. And when your music and your label stop pushing you, and when the music gets old and repetitive, they'll leave if you don't have a true solid fan base. I know a lot of artists that were pushed by labels big, and they sold a lot of records, and they traveled the world, and they got a lot of stuff. But once they stop messing with their label, once they stop doing the things that the label wanted them to do, they took away the support. And they don't have a true fan base, and they need those connections. So with building a true fan base, your core audience is gonna always stand there within the test of time. So I'm not gonna hold you guys much longer. Let's just get into it. Number 1, why do K-pop agencies focus on looks rather than music? And why is this important to fan bases? Cultural emphasis on appearance. In South Korea, societal norms place significant value on physical appearance, often influencing professional opportunities and public perception. This cultural emphasis is reflected in the K-pop industry, where idols are often scouted based on their looks and are expected to conform to difficult beauty standards. For instance, idols like Kai from EXO was chosen for the role as visual in the group, highlighting the importance of appearance in their selection process. Economic considerations. The K-pop industry is a highly commercialized sector where visual appeal is seen as a key factor in attracting fans and generating revenue. Agencies invest heavily in the aesthetics of their idols, including styling, music videos, and promotional materials to create a marketable image. This focus on visuals is viewed as a strategic move to ensure the commercial success of groups, as a compelling visual identity can lead to increased sales and brand partnerships. Branding and global appeal. K-pop's global success is partly attributed to its strong visual branding, which transcends language barriers and appeals to a wide international audience. Idols are often styled to project a specific image that aligns with global fashion trends and cultural visuals, making them more relatable to diverse audiences. This emphasis on visual identity helps in creating a distinct and recognizable brand for each group, which is crucial in the competitive global music market. In summary, the prioritization of visuals over musical talent in the K-pop is a multifaceted strategy influenced by cultural values, economic objectives, and the industry's approach to global branding. Why is this important? This is important because basically what it's saying is they put a strong emphasis on looks because they feel like looks are going to make them sell. Looks are going to take them to the top. It might not be the only thing, but it's definitely one of the most important things. Music is one of those things that it doesn't matter how you look, how you dress, how you talk. If the people buy into your music, they'll buy into everything else because most real artists use their looks to visually express what their music is going through. An example of that, BTS. Why is BTS focused on music and looks? Because they change their appearance many times and has gender-neutral looks. Easy to explain. BTS's focus on both music and appearance is a strategic choice that reflects their desire to break boundaries and challenge traditional norms in the entertainment industry. The music is deeply personal, often touching on themes like self-love, mental health, and societal issues, which resonates with a wide range of people. This connection with fans is built not just on their sound, but also on their ability to express themselves through their looks, fashion, and overall visuals. BTS changing appearance and gender-neutral looks are part of their evolution as artists and individuals. K-pop in general embraces fluidity in gender expression and fashion, allowing artists like BTS to experiment with different styles that reflect both their personal growth and artistic evolution. They've used fashion and visual storytelling to challenge traditional gender norms, which is why their appearances often blend traditionally masculine and feminine elements. This approach reflects their belief that music's self-expression and appearance should not be confined to rigid expectations. Their diverse styles also cater to the global nature of their fan base, embracing different cultures and tastes. By doing this, BTS encourages fans to embrace their own identities with conforming to society's expectations. The focus on both music and appearance helps reinforce their message of authenticity and self-expression. Why is this important? This is important because basically, in my opinion, I think BTS uses their own fashion as a way to express what they're going through at the moment. They have many different hairstyles, many different hair colors. They conform to no one. They do what they want. They don't let society pressure them into doing other things. It's not like I'm saying they're out there just dressing however they want and just acting crazy. I feel like their look is an artistic expression of what they're currently going through. You might see one moment they have green hair. You might see one moment they have red hair. You might see one moment they have on all black. You might see one moment where they have a lot of makeup on their face and they're wearing different jeans, and some might say it's feminine elements, some might say it's whatever you want to say. All I'm saying is they reflect a wide range of people. We all know sexuality is a big part of music. They have their fans are so diverse. They have old, they have young, they have mid-level, like my age, anywhere from 25 to 40. They have straights, they have lesbians, they have gays, they have transgender. They have a multitude of fans, and they're basically saying, you can be who you are. You don't have to conform to society. We understand. We change our looks also. And I think that deep connection with your fans and that acceptance for who you are goes a long way in building a true fan base to make people believe in you no matter what. Another point, why don't K-pop agencies allow artists to engage with fans live a lot? This is simple. Control over image and branding. Agencies meticulously manage idols' public personas to maintain a consistent and marketable image. Unscripted live interactions can lead to unintended disclosures or behaviors that might not align with the group's brand, potentially affecting their image and marketability. Protection and privacy invasions. Allowing unrestricted live interactions increases the risk of privacy violations. Fans might obtain personal information or images that could be misused, leading to rumors or invasions of privacy. For instance, taking selfies with idols can sometimes result in dating rumors or other misunderstandings. Emotional and mental well-being of idols. Constant interaction with fans can place significant emotional and psychological demands on idols. The pressure to maintain a certain level of engagement and meet fan expectations can lead to burnout and stress. Agencies aim to balance fan interaction with idols' well-being to prevent such issues. While these strict restrictions are in place to protect both the idols and agencies' investments, they also shape the nature of a fan-idol interactions in the K-pop industry. I think when you hear stuff like that, it's hard for people to believe. And me personally, I don't believe a lot of that, even though this is researchable information. This is what the companies say. The reason I don't believe in that is because when you're making money, you don't care about the interactions. When they're going to Chanel shoots, and when they're going to Dior shoots, when they're going to fashion shows, meeting celebrities, and when they're doing all of these different things on TV shows and becoming famous, no one has a problem with interactions. But too many fans, that could be a problem. See, this is the problem to me, with K-pop idols and why they don't resonate well with the West. You see, in the West, they like people who are approachable. They like people who feel like the common man. Now, do superstars get big and then they feel like they're above people at times? Yes, of course. But what happens when people see that in public? It's damaging to the brand. It's horrible. What happens when people find out, oh, they don't want to engage with people because they feel like, oh, it's too stressful. But then they see you on Jimmy Kimmel, or then they see you on The Breakfast Club, or then they see you on any type of podcast that's huge. They're like, oh, so you can't meet us, you can't do meet and greets, but you can go to all of these places and want us to support you. This is a bad thing. Now, how does BTS flip that? I'll explain. Why does BTS like to live stream on fans so much? BTS enjoys live streaming with their fans because it allows them to connect with their ARMY, their fan base, in a real time, creating more personal and an intimate bond. Live streaming provides a direct, unfiltered way for them to interact with their fans, allowing them to share moments of their lives, express their gratitude, and engage with fans beyond their music. This connection through live streams is important to BTS because they have always emphasized the value of building a close relationship with their fans, making ARMY feel like a part of their journey. It's also a way for them to show their genuine personalities and have fun with fans in a relaxed setting. Whether it's joking around, talking about their experiences, or giving fans updates, live streaming allows BTS to be more relatable and transparent, breaking down the barriers that sometimes exist between celebrities and their audiences. Additionally, live streams are an easy way for BTS to express their thanks and appreciation for ARMY's unwavering support. Since their success is largely driven by their strong and loyal fan base, these interactions strengthen their bond with ARMY and make their relationship feel more like a community. Now, why is this important? This is important for several reasons. People feel like they were a part of BTS's journey. People feel like they're a part of their lives. They make them a part of their lives. They talk to them frequently. They write them messages. They respond. They let them in the most intimate moments, in their rooms, while they're having fun, while they're joking around, while other members walk in each other's rooms. It makes the fans feel like they're a part of a small community that only they're a part of. It's BTS and it's us, the ARMY. That's how they feel. They feel like they're family. So when it comes time to support these guys, when they go to different countries and they go to their concerts, they pack the stadiums, they sell them out. That's why they anticipate their music so much. That's why they get the most votes for the fan awards. That's why they have to be blackballed within the industry because their fan base is so strong. Because they don't feel like we're a part of a fan base. They feel like we're a part of a family. And that will go a long way. Other K-pop groups don't have those type of fan bases. I don't think those people feel like they're a part of a family. I think those people just feel like they're idolizing idols. Where in BTS's cases, they might be idols, but people don't feel like they're idols. They feel like they're family. Another reason, extended training periods in K-pop. In the K-pop industry, it is common for trainees to undergo extensive training periods before debuting, often ranging from 3 to 5 years. However, some idols have experienced even longer training durations. Examples, JHope trained under JYP Entertainment for 15 years before making his debut in 2015. JHope from Twice began training at JYP Entertainment at the age of 8 and debuted after 10 years of preparation. G-Dragon trained for 11 years starting with SM Entertainment before moving to YG Entertainment, where he eventually debuted with Big Bang. These extended training periods are designed to develop highly skilled idols. However, they also mean that these artists are introduced to the public only after years of preparation, which can delay the process of building a fan base. I think that's a good and bad thing. They train people in the States and we have our own process for that. But that's kind of disappeared over the years because the States realized, the biggest music market in the world, you don't have time to train people for 10 to 15 years. You don't have time to train people 5 to 7 years. Like I said in the beginning of this monologue, technology is moving fast. The internet is growing. Music is being created and released faster than ever before. That means people's attention spans are shorter. Music used to be 4 to 5 minute songs, sometimes even 6. Now the best songs that chart are anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes max because people's attention spans are smaller. They're shorter. They want quick. They want fast. They want relative. And when they don't get that, they move on. It's part of the reason why people love TikTok so much over all other apps. It's quick 30-second videos that you can swipe through. It's part of the reason YouTube are pushing shorts instead of long form content like this. Because the shorts, they want to compete with TikTok. You can get views faster. You can get ads faster. Everything is faster. Doesn't always mean it's better, but it's technology and you have to adapt. Another important, dependence on entertainment labels. Why is this important? In contrast to Western artists who often establish their personal brands and fan bases independently, K-pop idols are typically managed and branded by their entertainment companies. The structure can impact their ability to connect personally with fans. SM Entertainment controls the image and concept and even the sound of its artists like EXO or aespa. When these groups promote abroad, they're often seen as a product of SM rather than as independent voices. YG Entertainment, known for tight creative control, even a major group like Blackpink had limited comebacks, with only around 30 songs released over 7 years before members left YG between 2023 and 2024. Many fans attributed the lack of content and slow growth overseas to the label's constraints. JYP Entertainment exerts control over ITZY and Twice, limiting experimentation with sound and concept. This can be a challenge in Western markets that reward authenticity and reinvention. As a result, K-pop idols often struggle to maintain a momentum in Western markets without consistent content or personal branding outside their companies. Why is this important? Basically, what they're saying in so many words is, it's hard to release limited music that sounds the same, with the same type of concepts, with the same formula. What works in Korea might work in America, but historically it doesn't. You have to step outside of the box. You have to maneuver around all of this. You can't count on this is working. We're gonna limit songs. We're gonna limit creativity. We're gonna get writers. You have to let your artists express themselves. You have to let them write. You have to let them produce. You have to let them grow. You have to let them take chances. A good way of doing this might be mixtapes or free songs on SoundCloud. Who does that? Well, we know who does that. Why did Hype labels give BTS the freedom to control their music and writing in the beginning? This is simple. Hype, formerly Big Hit Entertainment, gave BTS significant creative freedom from the beginning because of the company's founder, Bong Si-hunk, believed in allowing the group to have a say in their music and artistic direction. Bong recognized that BTS's unique voices and individuality could help them stand out in the highly competitive K-pop industry. Additionally, he saw the potential for BTS to resonate deeply with their audience through authentic and personal music. This freedom allowed BTS to explore meaningful themes from personal struggles to societal issues and enabled them to connect with fans on a more profound level. It was a strategic decision that helped foster their growth, enabling BTS to build a loyal global fan base and establish themselves as not just performers, but as influential creators in the music industry. The trust Bong placed in them paid off as they became a major global phenomenon, with their music often being a reflection of their own experiences and messages they wanted to share around the world. Now, why is this important? This is important because they basically came up how most artists come up in America. They're signed to a label, they're training, they're doing their thing, but they're releasing music here, and they're doing mixtapes here, and they're doing lives here, and they're writing their own music, and they're producing their own music, and they're working with other producers, and they're working with other writers, and they're showing the fans their growth, and they're showing the fans who were with them from day one, we're gonna make it, and we want you to be a part of this journey. Also, it's showing you, it's making them be more sustainable in the future. We're writing about personal experiences. We're writing about things we feel, things we see, things we've heard. They're growing with their audience. They're not stagnant. When you make a certain type of music at a certain age, from writers and producers manufacturing who you are, you're gonna be at a standstill. You won't be able to grow. You won't be able to keep up with the fast-paced music industry. BTS write songs in their sleeps. They produce songs in their sleep. This is what they do because this is how they came in. This is how most Western individual artists go. They don't really write all of their music, but they write parts of it, and the labels work with other writers. That's why you always see them on the writing credits, if not the whole credits. They work with people, and the people who are manufactured, and the people who do count on labels. They never make it long in the States. Only the best people make it. And the people with the most creativity and the most individuality and the best music will only survive. Which brings us to our next point. Point number 2, lack of collaborations. Why is this important? I'll break it down 3 ways. I'll show you how the K-pop industry works, and I'll show you the difference with the top artists in the West. I personally believe that the reason they do this is all strictly for monetary gain. Why do I believe that? Let's listen. Major label competition. These big groups are usually signed to rival entertainment companies. BTS Hyde, Blackpink YG, EXO SM, Stray Kids JYP, ATEEZ KQ. These companies are all fighting for dominance, money, awards, and chart positions. A collaboration would mean splitting profit, views, and attention, and no label wants that unless there's a huge benefit. Who gets more lines, more screen time? If they shoot videos. If BTS and Blackpink did a song together, imagine a drama over who sings the chorus, who gets the center in the dance, who closes the MV. These decisions could trigger massive fan wars even between fans who normally love both groups. The schedules are insane. Big groups are booked for months. Tours, brand deals, album drops, filming. Coordinating a real collab like a full song, video, and promo, it's a logistical nightmare. The risk is too high. If the collabs flop or even just underperforms, it could damage the artist's image. Labels want to protect their biggest money makers. They don't want to gamble on a collab unless they know it's a guaranteed hit. Why do I think that's important? I think that's the old way of thinking. That's not how it works. And I understand the K-pop structure. The K-pop structure is basically you do a dance performance video or some type of performance video, which is like a dance practice. You do a real video shoot, and I get the choreography of it. They both dance. Who gets to shine? It's very simple. Whose song is it? If it's Blackpink featuring BTS, then Blackpink will close. It's their video, and they can get most of the screen time. It's a feature. If it's BTS song, then Blackpink will get the feature. Same thing with Stray Kids or JYP and anybody. If it's Stray Kids and ATEEZ, and it's a ATEEZ song, well then Stray Kids are not gonna get more screen time than ATEEZ. It's their song. And you trade collaborations. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure this out. And then people say their schedules are so jam-packed. How? They're only releasing 7 to 8 songs on the albums. They don't put out 20, 30 song albums. Most of the albums that I've seen personally in K-pop are anywhere from 10 songs, maybe 12 at the most under. So, and you're re-releasing the same album over and over and over, selling 10 to 12 different versions. So you can put it on one of the editions. Imagine this. Imagine a Blackpink BTS collab, or imagine a Stray Kids ATEEZ collab. I think something like that would break the internet. I personally do. And in the West, they reward collaborations like that. They like to see the stars come together to make the best music because it's all about the music. But if you want to chase everything by yourself, imagine the fan bases. Imagine any of those groups together, and I just use BTS and Blackpink as the official example. Imagine BTS's ARMY and the Blackpink Blinks. Imagine both those fan bases coming together to push a song. They would go #1 in the States. They have deep fan bases. I don't think Blinks are nowhere near as big as the ARMY, nowhere near. But it's enough to get any song #1. BTS is doing it on their own. They don't even need this. And that's another thing. BTS really doesn't need these collaborations. These other artists do, in my opinion. Because you can't do what they've done and not want to work with them. Example of collaborations. For example, why are major collaborations important? It's simple. The biggest artists in the States collab. This is not a BTS thing or Black. This is a K-pop in general thing. They need to collab more with their artists for the future of music. The K-pop industry is the next biggest industry, in my opinion, after the United States' music. Then it's Korea. They have some of the biggest artists in the world. I think they have the ability to go global with all of their artists, but they have to work together. They can't be fighting for one particular spot. It's enough money and it's enough fame for everybody to go around. I'll give you some examples of artists who are the top in the States, and I'll tell you people they've collabed with. Drake, one of my favorite artists. An R&B singer, a rapper, pop, one of the most successful artists of all time. He has the most top 100 hits in Billboard history. He has the most top 10 hits in Billboard history. He has the most number ones of any rapper in Billboard history. Rappers he's worked with and artists, just in the hip hop world. Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Future, Travis Scott, Jay-Z, Kanye West, 21 Savage, Rick Ross, Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Gunna, Young Thug, JHope, Central C, Papa Khan, Block Boy JB, Party Next Door, Skepta. Singers and pop artists he's worked with. Rihanna, Alicia Keys, Beyonce, Chris Brown, The Weeknd, Justin Bieber, SZA, Bad Bunny, Majid Jordan, Tim's, Michael Jackson. These are all popular artists. Beyonce, with rappers, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Megan Thee Stallion, Childish Gambino. Singers and pop stars, Shakira, Lady Gaga, Ed Sheeran, Alicia Keys, Luther Vandross, Jack White, Madonna, Taylor Swift, pop idol, pop stars, and indie artists, Ed Sheeran, Shawn Mendes, Brendan Urie, Lana Del Rey, Bon Iver, Ham, Phoebe Bridgers, Ice Spice, Keith Urban, Tim McGraw, The Chicks, Maren Morris, Kendrick Lamar. And that's just to name a few. These are the biggest stars in America. But you clearly see that they understand that I don't have to like these artists, I don't have to know these artists, but we all share a common goal. We want to make the best music possible. And we're all going for that number one spot. But that doesn't mean that we can't work together, grow, and make the best product possible. I feel like Korea is putting their feelings in these labels, and they all desperate to be known as the label of the country when they could work together and become the country of music, in my personal opinion. Point number 3, inflating fake numbers. The West, one thing about America, we don't like fake numbers. We don't like misleading numbers. I'm not gonna say what they're doing in the K-pop industry is fake numbers because it's technically not fake numbers, but it's almost inflating numbers. A lot of these numbers they release are impossible to maintain, impossible to get, and anybody who just hears the numbers know it. The two biggest industries in music are the United States and Japan. So it's no way that you can break records in just Korea with these type of numbers and expect the world to believe it when these groups aren't the most popular groups, even in Korea, let alone the world. An example of this, 17 dropped the album and they said they claimed they sold 4.6 million records in 1 week. Now, the record for Billboard in the most in 1 week is Adele with 3.3 million. And the reason people trust Billboard so much is because Billboard charts their albums differently. They do physical sales. Why is this important when I say physical sales and streaming sales? I'll get to it. K-pop counts shipments, not real sales. In Korea, Hanto and Circle Chart track album sales. Hanto equals real-time sales to customers. Circle equals shipments to stores, not actual purchases. So when a group like 17 says 4.6 million sold, they're often quoting Circle numbers. How many albums were shipped out? But it doesn't mean 4.6 million people bought it yet. Billboard counts sales differently. Billboard only tracks actual sales to customers in the US, and they exclude international versions sold outside the US or through fan bundles. So if 17 sold only 132K on Billboard, that's just US certified sales, nothing from Korea, China, or other markets. Mass buying is real. K-pop fandoms buy multiple versions of the same album. One fan might buy 10 copies to get photo cards or fan card entries. So the total unit count goes way up, but the fan count stays the same. It's not fake, but it's an inflated on purpose. I don't believe that. And I don't think anyone in the world believes that. 17 at best is the third best group in Korea. Obviously, we know it's BTS and Blackpink. Some people might say Stray Kids, but if you want to say 17, I'm not going to argue. But to say they sold 4.6 million records, you're alluding to they're the biggest group in the world. The population of Korea, last time I checked, was like 51 million. Do I believe 9 or 10% of the population bought that album? No. Do I believe 460,000 fans bought 10 copies? No, I'm not believing that. I believe they sold these to the stores and they were called pre-orders. They just sold them to the places that were gonna sell them, and that's what they counted because legally that's what they can do. These type of playing with numbers makes people expect higher qualities of music. So if you're saying you sold 4.6 million in 1 week, you got the record of all time, why isn't your album #1 in every country? Why isn't the world reflecting on what you say you did in your country? Whereas BTS's cases, their albums reflect what they actually sell. If they're #1 in Korea, they're #1 in a bunch of different countries, including the US. They're topping the charts at least. A lot of these songs off that 4.6 million album didn't even chart on the top 100. So I'm saying, like, when you say these type of things, people are gonna expect results. And when you don't show them results, they're gonna think that it's fake. Even if it's inflated, it's just not real. It's just not realistic for me to think that you want the world to believe that you have the biggest group in the world and they're not the biggest group in their country. You gotta make it make sense. In general, K-pop companies don't lie, but they use sales methods that general public misunderstands. Billboard and Korean charts just play by different rules. 4.6 million sold doesn't equal 4.6 million fans. It might be 460,000 fans who bought 10 copies of each. That's very difficult for me to believe. It's really difficult to believe that 460,000 fans bought 10 copies apiece. That would still count as 4.6 million. But as they just said, they're not counting sales. They're counting store boughts. So if you ship it to the store and it's an order and no one's paid for it yet, you can actually count the sales that haven't been sold yet, which is completely unfair in my opinion. And which gets us to our last point. Lack of music individuality and too many members. Why does K-pop outside of BTS seem less creative or individual? Many groups are built, not born. It's a factory system. Labels assemble members, assign concepts, hire the same songwriters, and run them through a tight system. That means less space for personal artistry, especially for the rookies or non-popular groups. Why BTS broke the mold? BTS, especially from 2015 to 2020, took huge risks, talking about depression, society, politics, self-love, writing their own lyrics and producing their own music. Other groups must stick to safe concepts: love, beauty, dance, I'm the best, it's not bad. It's just recycled a lot. Creativity equals risk. K-pop is a business. Labels want guaranteed hits, not experimental flops. That's why you hear the same beats, song structures, and choreo trends over and over. Only when a group is big enough like BTS, EXO, or maybe even Stray Kids or XG do they get more creative control. Blackpink as well. No writing, no voice. Most idols don't write their own music, so it's hard to hear a unique POV or a message. It feels more like a product than an artist because they don't write. It's not them, it's not their experiences, it's not who they are. Why don't global audiences vibe with 7 and 9 member groups? It's easy. It's too many faces to remember. Western fans are used to solo artists or small groups, duos or trios. Seeing 9 people on the screen at once, or even 7, feels like chaos to new viewers. It's harder to connect emotionally when you can't even remember their names. Less spotlight per member. With 7+ members, each group maybe get 10 seconds of screen time in a 3-minute song. Casual fans don't bond with someone they barely see or hear. Why do some groups have only 3 people that sing? Why are there so many people then? That's a common reaction. In groups with heavy dance focus, not everyone is a main vocalist, but outsiders don't get the team role system because it's not what they're used to. Western culture prefers individual stars. In Western music, individuality is king. K-pop is more like the group unit, a shared image, synchronized dance, and team harmony. Now, With that being said, that doesn't apply to BTS and only BTS because they broke the mold. People in America love BTS and people in America love their individual solos. I think the problem is when you create a group that resonates with people a lot, they'll want to support everything that group does. The reason it's hard for a lot of these groups I named outside of BTS, because we're not going to support them individually, huh? Most people can't remember their names. When you do remember their names, the music just isn't good. Examples of this, look at Blackpink. They all went solo, but if you look at all of their releases, look at Lisa's release, look at Jennie's release. They're gonna inflate the global numbers. We know how they do in Korea, but look at what they did in the US. 50,000, 40,000, and then it falls off the charts because they're not as big as they say they are. They don't have #1 hits. They don't have #1 albums. Again, you look at Jungkook, #1, 7. You look at Jimin, like crazy. You look at what's going on. They're always topping the charts. They're always pushing the boundaries because the music is good. And in closing, what will it take for this to change? It's simple. In my opinion, it takes you, the fan, you, the casual fan, to be like, yo, I'm tired of this. Yo, I want these groups to work together. I want us to be global. I want us to succeed. I want us to step out the norms. I want my artists to write their own music. I want them to feel expression. Or if not right, I want them to have a part of it. I don't want the same songs over and over again. I don't want the same themes over and over again. I don't want the same generic groups that we always see. I want people to go out there, take a risk, challenge themselves, grow, take a page out of BTS's book, and just be who you are. There's nothing wrong with that. And guess what? If you fail, you fail. You know what you do? Just like an artist, you come back, you dust yourself off, and you write something else. You try something else, and you grow, and your labels have to be patient with you. Everything can't be about money 24/7. And this is what the States figured out. That's why you can see a YouTube star get a contract the next week and be out. That's why you see a TikTok star who can rap, they'll give them a chance because they'll say, okay, it's not that much investment. You make your album, you put it out, we'll see how it does. That's how it works. But they want to invest so much into a guaranteed product that they're missing the opportunity at a lot of money. Give these people a chance and you'll be surprised. And you might be surprised at how far they can grow. That's it with this video essay. I hope you guys take a lot from it. I hope you see why BTS is succeeding in the West and why these other artists need to catch up. With that being said, this was AME NOIR's first video essay. I'm your boy, Don K. You like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on what I was saying. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Whatever the case may be, I would love to hear from you. With that being said, peace.